I have like a spiel kind of go through. This show is about interviewing just people, and I saw your profile, I found it interesting, and I just wanted to talk to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then the more we message, I was like, oh, she's pretty cool. So let's see what happens.
Okay. Thank you.
And you're based out of Ohio.
Yes, I'm out of Cleveland.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
yeah.
Cleveland rocks.
Thank you.
No, I've actually been there. I like it.
It's an all right city. It's not
Yeah.
bad. Not a bad city. I lived in New York for about 10 years, LA for about 4,
Oh, okay.
Detroit for about 4, and Virginia, which sucked, but
Yeah.
every other place has been pretty cool. Came back here because I have a bunch of kids and needed some support from the family.
Oh, okay. Are you based out of there?
Yeah, I was born in Cleveland.
Oh, nice. I was born and then raised in California, outside LA, Riverside County,
Oh,
and
okay.
then wasn't the fondest place I've been. I'm from Chicago as well, and Chicago is way nicer than New York. We visited, my wife and I, and my son, and we loved New York. That was
Yeah, New York's
really nice. What are you doing?
So I started to learn about holistic modules. I broke my back in the Iraq War, and
Oh,
I witnessed 9/11 during 9/11.
wow.
Moved to New York in June, and it happened in September. And so I volunteered to do positive things during the Iraq War. I was working at the UN at the time, and I was between two different contracts. So I was like, you know what? Why not? If they're guaranteeing that I won't harm anybody, I could
Yeah.
do the translation gig, you know? And I actually broke my back when I was there. So, falling off a Humvee.
Huh.
Yeah, and I came back, no direction. They didn't tell me where to go or anything or what to do. I basically was just left to, wither in my pain. I
Sure.
didn't want to do pills. They were giving out at the time tramadol 200 milligrams.
Yeah.
Unheard of. I don't think they make them anymore. But and I didn't want to get surgery because there was a chance of me being unable to walk. So,
Oh.
I started getting into holistic and natural remedies. There was a place that's now closed, but it was called the Open Center in the Village in New York. And I
Hmm.
walked by there and I got a session, I got another session. And then I was like, you know what? I want to learn this stuff. So they actually offered me a scholarship. And I can't remember the name of the owner, but I should look it up. But he's an incredible guy. He's still doing courses, but it's in another under another name. But anyway, so I actually got certified in some of the healing modules, and then I started having dreams. My grandfather was a healer.
Huh.
Yeah, so he was a Darwish, and he healed
Okay.
with his hands and through music. So, I had that connection. And so I started diving deeper in my meditations and asking questions and started practicing it and people felt better, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been going on since 2004. So I decided, throughout the years, I just realized, the medical industry in America is very much pro ailment and not pro healing or recovery. It's a business model that, back even historically when the country was built, the Rothschilds talked about the medical model and the war,
Mhm.
you know, business model being what's going to make America thrive. And that's what America is built on right
Mhm.
now. You know, so all these things I've taken in. I went to become a clinical therapist, got that. All of these things I um got, all these skills I have in my toolbox, I decided to relaunch my business and I've included life coaching, hypnosis. I'm still doing holistic healing, um, guidance, a bunch of niches in life coaching. I'm doing some therapy still too, but I've added hypnosis and past life work and um, psychedelic assisted therapy as well.
Well, really like mushrooms and
Yes, yes.
yeah.
So I've been, um,
Yeah.
I haven't. I put sacred medicine because you have to work with what
Mhm.
you have.
Right.
And then if they question me, I'll just say they're not going to do piss tests. You can't even find psilocybin on a drug test. But I have
Oh,
so
really?
no, you can't. It's. I mean, I think they have to do a very detailed one that's very rare. But psilocybin is the safest, most effective um, medicine I've had for depression.
Mm.
Um, as well as ketamine. I think ketamine does, if you do it in a proper manner,
Yeah.
uh, it also helps shift your depression.
Huh.
So that's where we're going with this. You know, so I had a session last Sunday and have a session this Sunday. Um, it's just a really safe place for people to unwind and face their trauma.
Yeah.
And um, they get 3 hours with me. So we can do whatever they want. We could talk. I could do body work. We could move energy. We could do hypnosis. We can dance. So I've I'm like an like a package therapist with all these tools.
Right.
But I don't believe in one certain tool that, you know, works for everybody. I don't believe in that.
I, I have the same attitude where I don't care as long as it works and it's not harmful on whatever technique, because you should have an open mind in some ways, because you just don't know. The planet's old and there's so many different cultures with different style techniques of healing or whatever, that you should at least consider them if you can afford that luxury. I thought the psilocybin use of therapy was a pretty good idea. I heard about it used on people who suffer with PTSD and trauma, and how they're able to be in a state where they can kind of dissect issues and actually go through them, and without the trauma, like, can kind of separate and really dig in. So I thought it was a great idea. Okay.
And the
Oh,
brain.
okay.
And the MRIs, you can see that the serotonin increases after dosing. And so
Mhm.
there's dosing where you don't feel it. It's just a
Yeah.
very small amount that I've done that for a few years. I mean, I guess it was part of my journey, I really like the actual the
Yeah.
hero dosage and the changes that happen from there. But it's really effective. It's not for everybody. Um,
Right.
this people with psychosis and things like that can really fall really, hard on things like that, and that could spiral up. Or if they're manic.
Really.
Well, if someone's manic, it just kind of, can go the wrong way. Um,
Right. Okay.
or if
Huh.
there's an active psychotic episode,
Right.
it might take them over the edge. I just don't trust it with imbalances that are that severe.
Right.
You
Huh.
know,
Interesting. What do you think about Timothy Leary?
I think he's awesome. I think he's a legend. Um, I think he stepped into a world and, left us with, something that really truly can expand your consciousness in your mind, especially if you do the work. I mean, no one's going to reach, enlightenment or your Buddhahood without some meditation, without some self-awareness and reflection and peace and silence.
Yeah.
Um, so it takes work for these things to happen, Like I tell my clients, it's not going to disappear in a night and a day,
Yeah.
These things, you have to face your shadow side, you have to face your childhood. And 99% of the issues of the world are these things,
Yeah.
It's facing yourself and facing the darkness that you're afraid to see. And once you conquer that, you can conquer anything. So, you know,
It seems that, doesn't it? If you look at world leaders who were shitty and or horrible people, serial killers, and then you look at the root cause, and so you didn't deal with childhood trauma.
right, right,
Like, who's it? Ed Gein, serial killer. His mom traumatized him and destroyed him, and she wasn't so horrible. Maybe he wouldn't be been a sick piece of shit. Same thing with Manson too. His mother abused him. It all goes back to just not dealing with their issues, right?
right, definitely, definitely. There's something to say about that, and even Trump, for God's sake. I mean, you wonder what the heck.
Abused, totally.
Yeah, for him to just shoot from the left every single time, every decision he
Yeah,
makes, like not thought out, not meditated on.
yeah,
They're just these rash, um, impulsive decisions that are affecting the world around us. You know,
right.
and it's like it's not our fault as a nation because he has childhood trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you have to be responsible. You have to be responsible when you go and you become, put yourself in a race that's going to affect the humanity. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Did you think that this was going to be a good idea? I mean,
right. I think your rationality gets thrown out the door if you're pretty severe, but that's a great point. I'd like to say thanks for coming on today. I appreciate you. I think you're fascinating, and I'd like to have you back on sometime.
sounds good. Great. I would love that.
Thanks for coming on Conversations.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.